Hi everyone, it's Liam here from RatingTheRaces. So today we're going to look at the handicap mark changes. We were going to do it yesterday, but we let the Grand National video take precedence yesterday. If you've not seen that, you can see it on YouTube or you can see it in one of our previous blog posts. So let's talk about the horses that dropped in the handicap and where they could go. I think finding a race is just as important as suggesting they're well handicapped. There's no point suggesting a horse is well handicapped if it then runs over 3 mile, having been campaigned over 2, and you thought it was well handicapped over 2, and they step it up to 3 mile, which doesn't suit. So the first horse I want to talk about is Jacoma. I thought he ran okay at Warwick, despite finishing 5th, never nearer. I think you can see that by his win PR. He didn't reduce in odds at all, and what that says to me is he was outpaced. He couldn't keep up at Warwick. They do go fast at Warwick. The nature of the track means you can win it from the front. And I think he found things just happening too quick. I don't think he needs stepping up in trip, though. I think the 2.5 trip is fine. I would like to see him run at Sandown in this novice handicap chase at over 2.5, a listed event on Saturday, the 12th of March. I think he would go well in that. I think the finish would suit him, and I think the nature of the course would suit him. Personally, though, I think this is where they'll run him next. Wednesday, the 2nd of March, there's a Novibet handicap steeplechase here for horses rated 0 to 135. He dropped £1 at the weekend to 131. That means he can get in here. And also, look at his Wincanton form. He was second in December. He won in December of 2020. And he also won in April of 2019 at Wincanton. So 3 runs at Wincanton, 2 wins and a second. That's surely where he'll go next. And hopefully, I'd like to see a decent field against him just so we can get a bit of a price. I know we've already had a nice 11 to 1 winner with him. After I highlighted him, I think he finished third of third, second of second, and then I said he was, actually better than his handicap mark. If we can get a decent price about him and nothing in against him as well. So often Jacoma seems to be running against horses that we've also highlighted. So if he runs them in Canton, I'll be very interested. The next horse I want to talk about was For Pleasure, who was given a bit of a strange ride. I thought they went far too fast on him, kept pushing, finished 4 for 4 in the Kingmaker. Now, the 3 in front, 2 of them are going for the Archon, one of them's going for the possibly for the Grand Daniel. I don't actually know what his handicap mark went up. Let me just pause the video and find out his handicap mark. So Brave Siaska, who was third in the race, went up £1 to 146. That probably doesn't ruin his chance in the Grand Daniel. I would imagine he's towards the head of the market. Well, I know he's towards the head of the market. For Pleasure, I thought was given a bit of a strange ride, considering I know they didn't want to win the race because, well, they weren't going to win the race, and maybe this was the plan. They tried to get him dropped a few pounds. He's dropped down to 138. He dropped £2. Is that going to get him in the Grand Daniel? That would be my concern. We do have him at 25 to 1 non-runner no bet, which is handy because if he doesn't run, if they think that was too poor a run, they might not run him in the Grand Daniel, or if he doesn't get in, obviously that would be frustrating as well. But in terms of his chance, if he turned up there, I'd still like to think he'd have a good chance in a handicap, as long as he didn't try to make all the running. Settle in second or third. You can be prominent, just don't try and make all the running, because that would be really tricky in a big feature handicap like the Grand Daniel. Moving on to the next horse that was interesting. Clandeboye dropped £4 to 168. Now, previously, you would never have been looking at Clandeboye's handicap mark. But I think the fact that he was beaten, and he was beaten relatively comfortably at Newbury, it wasn't his best run, for sure. Now, off 168, it wouldn't be completely against something that Paul wouldn't do. I wonder if he might turn up in the Coral Trophy handicap. It's a good prize for winning it. It really is. And we know he loves Kempton. He's a dual King George winner. He finished third in 2020. He finished second in 2021. He loves Kempton. I know he would have to give a lot of weight away, but so did Brave Man's Game, so did Denman, so did Calto Star in a Monet's Garden. Denman did twice, obviously, in Hennessy's. If you have those horses that are clearly very, very good at a certain course, why not go there in a handicap and win a big prize? Where else can you go with him? You could go to Aintree. The prize money's not going to be much different, if at all. And you might find that one of the Irish stays over for the Melling Chase. I think it's the Melling Chase. It's this one here. Let's just have a quick check at that prize money. What was it last year? 84 for the bowl, not the Melling Chase, the bowl. I wonder whether he's going to get something in against him this time that could beat him. Whereas in the handicap, I think it'd be very, very interesting. And that's where I'd like to see him run personally. Drop him down into a handicap and go for the Kempton Chase, which is on the 26th of February. It's another 10 days' time. He could then even run in the bowl if he won the big Coral Trophy and won a load of prize money. That would be my suggestion with Clandeboye. Down to 168. I think he would have a great chance in that handicap. The next horse, again, I've talked about him before, 50 Ball, dropped £4 to 127. He's dropped to 127 over fences and hurdles. I'd like to give him another run over hurdles and go for the Imperial Cup. He's won at Sandown, on heavy, over 2 mile. That's likely to be the same conditions for the Imperial Cup. The last 5 runnings has had soft in the going of the Imperial Cup. It's a weaker handicap than what he's been running in. The types of races, the one at Newbury was obviously the better for hurdle. The top class handicappers run in that. The Imperial Cup doesn't often find a top class handicapper from it. They're generally just a little bit below. And I think if 50 Ball ran in that, I think it'd go very close. Obviously, Gary Moore is very good at Sandown, so if he does turn up there, you'd have to be interested. And he has suggested that the horse is very ground dependent. Well, if he is, that's where you're going to get the soft ground, the Imperial Cup at Sandown. The final horse I want to talk about is Indefatigable. Only dropped £1. That would be really frustrating, I'm sure, for Connections if they did have the Martin Pipe in mind. And Martin Pipe is a 0 to 145. He won't get in that. Or she won't get in that, sorry. So what could they do with her? They could go for the Coral Cup. Now, you can see that there's no real prices yet for the Coral Cup. There's 33 to 1 and 25 to 1 non-runner no better. A couple of places. It is tempting. I think we've lost one of ours. You can see that my 2 in the race are Mars Harper at 20s and Chittabello at 25s. However, after Darryl highlighted Chittabello for the Coral Cup, his owner came out and said Chittabello more likely to run in the Potemps final should he qualify. Which is frustrating. Kind of fingers crossed he doesn't qualify then, finishes 7th. But would that hinder his chance at Cheltenham? Possibly, although he may drop another couple of pound. But going back to Indefatigable, could she go well in the Coral Cup? Well, I actually advised her for the Coral Cup 2 years ago or 1 year? 2 years ago. 2 years ago. I advised her at 25s or 33s for the Coral Cup. She ran in the Martin Pipe. She won at 25 to 1. I didn't advise her for the Martin Pipe. The same sort of conditions, it's just almost like the slightly easier race, and I didn't advise her for the Martin Pipe. I just completely missed her. That was gutting. Maybe 2 years on, she runs in the Coral Cup, and this time can go really close in the Coral Cup, because she can't run in the Martin Pipe. There's no point, in my opinion, going for the Stayers Hurdle. There's no point, in my opinion, going for the Mares Hurdle. She's not going to win either of those. Might as well run in the handicap. You can see the last 2 runs she's had in handicaps at Cheltenham. She finished 2nd here 2 runs ago, and she won the Martin Pipe. I think that's where she's got to go, surely. As I said, it looks like we've lost at least one of these, with Chittabello probably going to the Potemps final if he qualifies. And Mars Harper, I think, could be touch and go in terms of getting in. So we might end up having to do, or not having to do, but wanting to do the Indefatigable for the Coral Cup anyway. So keep an eye out for that. But there's just a few horses that I think are well handicapped. I think the most interesting one is Clandeboye in that 3 mile handicap at Kempton. And the one that I'd be most confident on would be 50 Ball in the Imperial Cup if he turns up there. So thanks for listening. I don't know if I said it at the beginning of the video. if you're new to Rating the Races, you won't have seen the previous colour changes and stuff. If you're not new and you've seen them all, let us know what you think. Let us know if there's anything else that we need to change in terms of the colours and stuff, to make it easier for you to read and view and use. Have a great weekend. That's coming up. I know it's only Wednesday, but still, have a great weekend, because I might not be back with another video before then.